Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm playing in the giant jumbo journal. Now, this old thing is about 150 years old, and when I bought it, I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to use it. And it actually felt like a little bit of pressure to figure out a really good way, the right way to use it, simply because it's such a beautiful old ledger. It survived all this time and I want to honor it. So I started thinking about it and I realized the name of it was the clue as to what I should do with it. It's called a grantee index, and grantees were the people who received property, and then they would keep records of it at this is from Iowa, state, county level, I'm not sure which, of who owned what property. So this is about receiving, and I realize feelings are about receiving something. So I am actually going to make this entire journal all about feelings. One feeling per page. So there are going to be a lot of feelings in here by the time it's done. Now this will include the good feelings, the bad feelings, the ugly feelings, the pretty feelings. All of the feelings are going to be welcome in here. Now this is definitely going to be an ongoing project because there are a lot of pages in this book. But the first one is what I'm doing in this video. Now the word that I chose to start with, the feeling, is daring. And yeah, I kind of noticed early on that I wasn't being very daring with this at all, but that was an oops, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly, and in the video you'll see why it was so helpful that I wasn't daring. So the pressure is on. This is the first official page in the journal, and I want it to be just perfect. Do you ever feel that pressure when you're starting in a journal and you just want it to be good? Well, yeah, I'm feeling that, so I'm going to do something that I normally don't do, and that is give myself a guide to help line up the letters. So I'm putting the washi tape on there. That way I'll know that my letters are all in the straight line position, quote, correctly. Now, by the way, if you've seen many of my videos, you can probably guess there's an oops coming with this because I am not exactly a precision person. So I'm going to spell the word daring, and I'm going to work from the back end of the word because I know I want it right against that edge. So I'm going to start with the last letter first, and that's going to help me get the spacing just right because I don't want to do any kind of crazy thing called measuring for this spacing thing. But I am overthinking exactly where this letter is going to go. Really what I need to do is just pick a spot and start getting some paint on there. Now the stencil that I'm using is called Vintage Typewriter Alphabet. It's one that I designed for over at StencilGirl Products. This is the jumbo one because as big as this ledger is, I can use a giant stencil for this. And I do have the Vintage Typewriter stencil also in a smaller size. Now the paint that I'm using is just black acrylic paint and a cosmetic sponge. But I've got to bring in the Post-it note because I know that I'm overthinking stuff and I am going to do something called misspell the word, which I've done quite a few times. So if I write the word out for myself, then I can see what it is that I'm doing because I can get so easily confused when it comes to spelling things, especially if I have to do it backwards. Now the word that I'm spelling is the word daring, and I chose that one for the first page of this journal, and my muse is completely entertained by the fact that I am being so cautious and not daring as I'm doing this, trying to make sure that everything lines up just right, that I actually spell the word correctly, all those things that I so often don't do when I'm creating. But on the page where I'm writing the word daring and I want to honor that feeling, I'm being most cautious. Now, I chose washi tape for the tape because it's a repositionable tape, so it pulled up without risking or tearing the page, and then all that tape, I'm actually going to roll it back on the roll and use it again some other time. So what was the big oops while I was doing the letters? Well, I was so worried about the bottom, I didn't even think about the top. And you can see on top of the eye, I've got a smudge of paint up there. Yeah, that was my big oops, the outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. And I know, it's just a little thing, right? But for some reason, that one felt like a really big oops to me. All that pressure of the first page of the journal. Well, all that pressure is actually an oops, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. So you might be wondering, what on earth is the opportunity in feeling that pressure? Well, it got me thinking about how I handle things when I'm feeling pressure and I know that I want to do it. I turn to my friends, online, in person, the people who get me. those are the people that make it possible for me to sometimes take those leaps outside of my comfort zone at times, and I want to honor them on this page. So that pressure led me to figuring out what kind of pattern or images I wanted to add on here. And it was such an easy choice for me once I saw the opportunity in that oops. I'm taking the women here from the Finding Your Tribe stencil that I designed for over at StencilGirl Products, and I am just adding them on here with the rainbow. Now, I wanted to have really long lines of women holding each other's hands, supporting each other, and to make that happen, I'm simply lining up the hands on the last one that I've stenciled with the first one that's about to be stenciled. Making their hands overlap makes them look like they've joined hands, and that way they can go all the way across the page. So I can make as long of a chain or link of these as what I need to fill the space. And that's important when it comes to this journal because this sucker is huge. Now, if you watched the first video using this journal where I created the permission slip, you know that there's a conflict going on between me keeping the lines and the beautiful writing on this and putting my color and pattern on it. And this was a great compromise because you can still see the writing through the people and you can still see lots and lots of the lines from the original page. So grabbing a fountain pen, I just did some quick loose sketching around each one of the women. And I was a little more precise when I started, and I was less precise when I got near the end of this. This page is just one of many to come in this ledger, because there are a lot of pages in this book. Join me for this fun by simply hitting the subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I have a new video out. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you've been enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you know of somebody that you think would enjoy this video, I'd so appreciate it if you shared it with them. And of course, you can find out more of what I'm up to over on the blog at acolorfuljourney.com. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.